Speaker Mike Johnson has been busy. We've got a new article on him from the New York Post where Hochul in New York's trying to give him trouble with filling up Elise Stefanik's seat when she becomes ambassador. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel as we check in on one of our favorite guys out there, Speaker Mike Johnson, Trump's secret weapon.
Look, we're excited about everything that President Trump is accomplishing. He's done more in 14 days for the American people than Joe Biden did in 4 years. 300 executive actions. All the priorities that we promised everyone on the campaign trail that we would take care of. He's doing what he said he would do, removing dangerous illegal aliens, securing the border, standing up to terrorists. I mean, he's unleashing American energy again. He's gotten rid of the DEI and gender ideology madness. It's win after win after win. So he's doing a lot by executive authority, which we applaud, and we're going to follow that up and really reinforce what he's doing, the agenda, through legislation.
Now, that's the most important thing. I hope you guys didn't miss that. So he listed off first all of Trump's accomplishments through his executive actions, but those don't stay longer than when Trump's in office. So Speaker Mike Johnson has said they have a commitment to the Congress has to make it legislative. They have to pass it into law. All of anything Trump has done, if you want it to stick longer than his presidency and guarantee it. Now, if the next president is J.D. Vance or a good MAGA Republican, then they will not automatically remove his executive orders, and they stay in until they are reversed by a Democrat. But it's the safest bet is to enshrine them into law, because then you have to have not only Congress pass it, but the president can't veto it. It's an extra two-step safety of Trump's agenda to make sure that America's change isn't temporary, but it's permanent no matter what the Democrat shenanigans try to do. What you may not know, and what Democrat media is trying to hide from you, is there was an attempt on Mike Johnson's life. A guy was planning it, Mike Johnson and Hegseth, and he ended up moving it on to that Besant guy. How dangerous is Mike Johnson? Enough to where a Democrat was planning to throw a Molotov cocktail at him.
Secretary Scott Besant, just confirmed yesterday, was the target today of a threat at the Capitol. A man with a Molotov cocktail and a knife, the suspect from Massachusetts, reportedly telling police that he was in D.C. to kill the secretary, again, who has only been on the job officially for 24 hours now. Court documents are showing Ryan Michael English said he originally planned to kill Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and House Speaker Mike Johnson, but changed his mind. The suspect, English, turned himself in just after 3 p.m., reportedly saying he wanted to throw the Molotov cocktail at Besant's feet.
We're locking that stuff down, but that is, again, the violence almost always comes from the left, and it's almost always targeted against the right. But we thank God that this guy wasn't able to pull it off, because now we actually have people at the FBI trying to break this stuff. There's more security at the Capitol. And then finally, I've got this article over at the New York Post. So this is on the plot where the Democrats are trying to use shenanigans to erode the Republicans' majority by keeping Elise Stefanik's seat open when she vacates it to become the ambassador. Here's the article, New York Post. Speaker Mike Johnson issues warning to New York Dems, that's Hochul, plotting to keep House seat vacant and slow the Trump agenda. He calls it a corrupt plan. House Speaker Mike Johnson pledged to challenge a plot by Albany Democrats to keep the New York congressional seat vacant and disrupt the delicate balance of power in Washington, D.C. The Post exclusively learned. In a blistering statement Sunday, Johnson condemns the Dems' talks to change state election laws to keep GOP Rep. Elise Stefanik's Deep Red District 21 seat open well after her expected resignation, when she is likely to become President Trump's ambassador to the United Nations. Quote, instead of working to address high costs, taxes or fees, the illegal immigration crisis, crime, anti-Semitism on college campuses, or other priorities, New York Democrats are instead working feverishly to silence the voices and needs of more than 750,000 citizens in New York's 21st congressional district, Johnson seethed. Quote, in an open display of political corruption, they are aiming to change the election rules to add a long delay in filing the New York 21 seat. I just want to call attention to the Democrats once again, who always claim to be pro-democracy. Remember when they said Trump was running for president? They go, democracy's on the ballot. Democracy's on the ballot. Our representational government is at threat. And now they're seeking to delay so that these 750,000 New Yorkers do not have a representation in government. That's what they think of representational government. That's what they think of the vote. That's what they think of rule of law. It was always a giant scam when they made those threats against Trump. I'll continue. Governor Hochul and other top Democrats are willing accomplices in this delay scheme because they know the seat will be filled by another Republican. Well, so they wouldn't have done this if it was a Democrat. That's what they think of rule of law. They wouldn't have done any of this if they thought the seat would be occupied by a Democrat. When it's a Republican, they're going, we got to change these rules. We will continue to hold these politicians accountable and challenge their corrupt plans so that hardworking families across upstate New York and North County get the representation they deserve. And House Republicans can deliver on our America First mandate. The rage by the usually mild-mannered Johnson, yeah, don't get him mad, guys, he will go ape on you, stems his precarious position as a Republican speaker with a razor-thin and fractious 218 to 215 House majority. Albany Dems met last week to mull changing the state's election law to delay special elections, including potential pending ones such as Stefanik's, until the June primaries or perhaps November's general election. Ooh, that would be really bad. Because remember, these people, they all have to also approve Trump's appointments. They're going to try and weaken Trump's agenda, weaken what the people decided with the vote in November, because they do not care about votes or the will of the people. With Stefanik expected to step down soon, that would leave Republicans with an even slimmer majority and more opportunities for rambunctious representatives to play havoc with Trump's nascent agenda. Stefanik's conservative upstate district is all but certain to elect another Republican in a special election if and when she steps down. So there is a remedy where the Democrats could get their way. They could run a Democrat and try and get them to win in a special election. But no, they don't want to take a vote. They don't want to find out what the will of the people is. The current law calls for Governor Kathy Hochul, there you go, to declare a special election within 10 days of Stefanik's resignation. The special election itself must take place 80 to 90 days after that declaration. But what are laws to Democrats when they can just change the rules, you know? Open up the statute of limitations and allow E. Jean Carroll just to sue Trump years after. They don't care about the law. They don't care about votes. Governor Kathy Hochul, when quizzed Monday by reporters on her fellow Democrats' plans, said she'll look at what the Albany Democrats hatch. Hatch is good, a baby dragon. She noted that she was elected to Congress in 2011, a special election, and argued that more needed to be done to increase voter turnout in such contests. Quote, you can always count on one thing, and that is Republicans will scream loudly if there's ever an effort to bring voter access to more people, she said. They just don't like it. So she's going to try, this lady here is going to try to say, we have to delay the vote to get more voters in, for more voters, because Republicans don't want more voters. What a lie. Hochul said, some states keep congressional seats open for 669. So she's advocating now for 2 years. She said the Empire State's compact timeline doesn't make sense either. So they're firing the warning shot. What a very short time frame does is it favors people who are already elected officials versus a citizen who wants to run, because there's a lot involved in this, she said, although she didn't say that when it was time for her to be voted into a vacated seat in New York when it served Democrats. And now you got all caught up on Mike Johnson. I'll keep you guys posted because this is going to be a huge controversy if Hochul opens this up and delays her replacement. I'm Doug in exile. Another video here. Subscribe right here. Tell us who you are, where you're from in the comments below.